dog wants to start fucking hammering away. Yeah. Fucking hell. All right. We're getting back into the painting. Let's put this guy back on the pin vise here. And get right back to work. So, as some of you may not be able to see, somehow I nicked up the knee. I think it was when I was farting around. I nicked up this knee. But anyway, yeah. So, we're going to continue work. And, yeah. You know what? First thing I want to do is take care of this little boo-boo. It's on the knees. Sophie, wow, looking nice. Thank you, Sophie. And welcome. welcome. Oh, I gotta get my trusty rusty painting rag. It's just an old t-shirt. All right. How's the Sophie tonight? Hopefully well. Now then, I guess we're really starting to get to a point where we've got to start thinking about the highlighting and stuff. You know what? I'm still kind of in blocking out colors. So I think what I'm going to do is I might jump over to, I don't know, probably black or something. Just for all the little piping and everything. You know? Anyway, I just want to quickly fix up this little boo-boos on the knee. I guess I probably should have a quick look around, see what else is messed up. Yeah, there's a couple spots there where I ended up bumping into stuff, and the joys of old school painting. Yeah, I think I definitely want to move into some other colors just to block out some of these areas. And thinking about it really, blocking out like all the colors and everything on the figure is kind of an old school technique. A lot of the old painting guides would always have you kind of like base coat the entirety of the model before, you know, moving on to other details. I'm going to grab some black. Actually, do I have black over here? I do. I got too much shit on the go here. God damn it. Black. Here we go. I had a black behind me. Sophie, sleepy but not sleeping, but okay. How's everyone else? And you, Kris? I'm not too bad. Not too bad. I'm just getting a little bit of painting done. Haven't gotten too much done. And basically with this one here, with this figure, it's kind of I guess a journey back in time. It's really about the best way I can describe it. It's going back in time. I can hear the Huey Lewis music playing right now. Ooh, yeah. The paints have that that old school smell. I know I've mentioned it before, but yeah. Alrighty, let's jump back into. You know what? I'm just gonna use my standard brush here for this one. Haven't washed it though in a bit, but should be fine. Again, the goal is not painting this to, any kind of competition or display type standards. This is just a project just for me. And honestly, for so many people out there, it seems like a lot of people need to kind of take this direction of just painting this stuff up for yourself. Don't worry about painting it up for Instagram or YouTubes or anything like that. Paint it for yourself, for your own enjoyment. Don't worry about any of the other useless crap that goes on. It's ultimately not worth your effort, really. All these things that everybody thinks is so important. Yeah, we'll keep going on. Do the elbow. I am going to paint any bits that I plan on doing in metallics. I am going to do them black first. Again, that's kind of the old school method. You always painted black first before applying metallics. Mainly because, you could alter really quickly the amount of saturation and hue of the metallic just simply by starting black and then slowly building the color up. I think also this project is obviously for your own satisfaction, your own peace of mind. I think that's really what it is. It's for your own peace of mind. Quite frankly, I mean, I enjoy classic miniatures. I enjoy classic paint jobs. For me, there's always been a charm to this stuff. Old Warhammer 40,000 is chock full of charm. Full. It is full of charm. Sophie, wow. I do that. I tend to get the base coats down, then shade, then layer the highlights, but I'm open to trying a different way. No, that's pretty much the old school method, is you base coat the whole thing, right? You just base coat everything that's going to get, blocked in, and then, you start building up your highlights. You got to be careful here and there, because I know, the other really common way a lot of people paint their miniatures is to paint in sections. They'll paint the foot and then move on to, the knee and, so on and so forth like that, right? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Personally, I had a hard time using that particular method to paint because, I don't know, once you had everything blocked in, then, the whole model starts to make sense as opposed to just painting the foot and then moving on from there. I've always found that it was easier to visualize the whole the project, right? Even though you were working within just base coating and all of that, and working with the, you know, the lower values, you know, like the darker colors, you still have a sense of where you're going. When you start off with just painting the foot and then the leg and going on like that and all the way through, you kind of have to have a set recipe for how you go about applying color. But when you have the whole model base coated, you're kind of free to think about, well, where do I want to change value? Do I want this, you know, do I, like, for example, this guy, red. Do I want to push it more towards yellow? Do I want to push it more towards magenta? Do I want to push it more towards brown? All right, like, there's all sorts of different directions you can go once you've laid out the color, and you can kind of visualize, you know, where you want to go with stuff. At least that's always been my way of thinking for this sort of stuff, is, you know, it kind of allows you to remain flexible, as opposed to, like, you know, building up the foot to a high standard. And then, you know, by the time you get to the arms, you're like, well, the color scheme I've chosen really doesn't quite work out anymore. Well, now I got to go back and apply color over everything and, you know, go back and do this. And, you know, it's just annoying. Again, I'm not particularly fond of painting and rendering out an entire section to full shadows and everything like that. You know, I prefer the old school method of just working your way through the model, build up the colors, build up your layers. If you want to change something, you know, you perfectly can, even before you start getting into the nitty gritty, you know, more painstaking highlighting that, you know, typically goes on as you push colors forward, you know, in your miniatures. You know. Sophie, I always thought it was about having fun painting first, no matter how it turns out, as my mini aren't exactly display standard, but I love painting them, and that's what matters to me. Yes, exactly. That's exactly it. That's the best attitude, I think, of having in this hobby, is what makes you happy, you know? And anything that doesn't make you happy and you don't find enjoyment, simply leave it. You don't have to include it in the hobby, in whatever you count as the hobby. You know, again, it's kind of like, you know, some people feel like if all you read is the lore and you don't play, you're not really in the hobby, and that does not seem quite right to me. That sort of attitude, you know, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially when you're trying to exclude people. It just doesn't make sense. You know? Does not make a lot of sense. Why? Because, well, everybody enjoys this. Not everybody enjoys the same aspects. And, you know, you have to have a pretty huge ego to think that the way you enjoy the hobby is the way the hobby should be enjoyed by all. And that's a level of hubris that, you know, confounds me. But I'm easily confounded by stuff, so, you know. Beep, beep, beep. Still no idea how I want to do the gun. Like the casing, I as I'm working my way through, I am thinking the casing should be white. And in fact, I may just go in and, you know, what I did here for the head, I'm going to do for the gun as well. I'm thinking anyway. And it is a bit of a rarity for me to be thinking, but yes, I am thinking. One thing I'm noticing too, that I don't really recall in the original paints, is the long work time. I don't remember Citadel paints. I mean, I'm maybe I just wasn't at the level that I was really concerned about it, but these seem to have a longer work life. Like, it takes a while for these to dry, even on my palette, even on the miniature. Just kind of interesting. Just something I've noticed as I've been working my way with these paints. Reliving my childhood, as it were. Reliving my childhood vicariously through my miniatures and my miniature paints. Always trying to recapture our youth, aren't we? Speaking of hubris. Alright, I gotta do those little doodads. Sophie, I was going to say I'm probably the worst mini painter on Discord group, which I probably am, as your Discord group is full of wonderfully talented people, but as long as you're having fun, it's what's best. Not bad. Yeah. No, I honestly, I don't really evaluate anybody's painting in the group by, good or bad, or, I mean, honestly, it's really just experienced and inexperienced, right? Nuance versus utility. That's all it is. I think another thing that is a bit of a misnomer in this hobby is the idea of levels, of stages, plateaus. You hear it in the language all the time, and I don't subscribe to that way of thinking, because if we're looking at this as art, as the pursuit of art, then there is really no hierarchy. There's no such thing as hierarchy. Now, if this is procedural, and that's all it is, then yes, hierarchies do help us to some degree. Thinking about these, right? It's because it's like being an automotive mechanic. There's procedures to it, but also an automotive mechanic can be an artist, right? There is an art to the procedural, so there's many different ways to be looking at this kind of stuff, and that is what really, I think, separates some people in these groups. So don't worry about thinking of yourself as a bad painter or inexperienced painter or anything like that. Just paint. Just paint your minis. Paint, paint, paint. Don't worry about it. Except when you make a little boo-boo, just like I did. Because I'm talking too much. Let's put a little coat down. Just for my own sake. Just so I can see these colors. Yeah, I think we'll do the doodads. You know what, I'm gonna thin a little bit of this black down though, and make a little shade wash out of it. Not really, but just something just to kind of get into the eyeballs and the mouth. So I just took a little bit of water, a little bit of the paint, broke it way down. Yeah, you know what? Like, coat the arms, it breaks down really nicely. Like for glazing, yeah, it is really darn good in that regard. Oh, shit. to get some of this color out. Made a boo-boo. Made a boo-boo. It's stained up that little bit near the eye there, but I see that little rivet. It's like a little black little shadow by there. We'll fix that later. I just want to knock some of that color out just so it wasn't too... I didn't have to lay too many layers down to try and, find that color again. Here I'm just picking up the teeth, just getting some black inside the mouth. Just so it's a little easier when we come time to picking this stuff out. I'm kind of thinking that a Tinboy, his teeth probably should be like a metal or something, right? His mouth should be all chrome. All shiny and chrome. Do 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 do. Sophie. Didn't a lot of people use scale model paints back in the old days, like Humbrol and the old style Tamiya and Airfix paints? Yes. I used to use testers. Testers, Ralpartha acrylics, testers enamels. I never used Humbrol. There's a lot of testers enamels. And Ralpartha and Citadel for me. Those were a lot of the colors or paints I used way back when. And I used to use the damn enamels and water-based acrylics on the same miniature at the same damn time. I think even once I tried to mix the colors, even before I understood that whole process of, water-based acrylics and enamel-based and all the different, different types of paint, Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to make all sorts of boo-boos when I was an inexperienced painter. But that's the process. That is the process. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to, mix improper things. I mean, water-based acrylics. Like if I took Coat d'Arms, Reaper Masters and Citadel, these are all water-based acrylic paints. They'll all mix. I can mix them all. It's not a problem. It's not like this shit's going to explode on me. But if I took, say, Coat d'Arms and Tamiya, whichever way you want to pronounce it, they don't actually mix that well. They will mix, but not very well. You get this kind of gummy residue in the mixing process. I don't know what it is, like what that is, like whatever the binders are in the water-based acrylics versus the Tamiya acrylics. And never mind, enamel-based. That's another ball game. Oh, excuse me. Funnily enough, people are now using Citadel color and contrast paints for scale models. Yeah, well, I mean, why not? I mean, anybody who is, you know, into some weathering and, or even just their base coating of their models. I mean, you know, Citadel contrast is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Do. Yeah, you know, I forget how nice these paints actually flow. I miss this creaminess. They're creamy. I guess it's been a long time since I've really kind of just stayed within the confines of one paint, one product to get me the entire way through a project. And again, I'm having fun. And yes, I am kind of reliving my childhood. Yes, I am. Some of you might be going, well, Kris, your childhood was probably crap. And you know what? It probably was. But you know what? It was mine. Yeah. Also, I think in my youth, I never really took my time. I was always in a hurry when I was young to hurry up and get through the model, hurry up and get to the next phase, and hurry up get the model finished. Right? That was always the goal, is to get the model finished, just get it done. Well, I mean, like, I collected a whole bunch of armies way back in the day, but you know, not to like the standards, obviously, that people can collect armies. That just wasn't a thing then. It wasn't the common thing to have massive, amounts of models just for one faction. I think a majority of people in the Rogue Trader era, I think they all pretty much collected every army, and because the concept in those days, it wasn't to build a massive 2,000 point army, because your 2,000 point army really only was a couple heroes, a squad, and maybe a rhino kind of thing, right? Like 2,000 points was not a lot when, like, you know, a basic squad of Marines started off at like 300 points, you know. Yeah, let's paint this all metal. Or gonna be metal. Wanna be metal? It's wanna be metal. Yeah, we'll paint that. But yeah, I do miss this. There's just something about it, and maybe it's me breathing in these little fumes off these paints, but yeah. I don't think there's fumes coming off the paint, but it's the aroma that the paint has. Whatever's the binder and such. Whatever that chemical is that's in these paints. It's very, very familiar. This little doodad right here, I'm just kind of debating whether or not I want to paint that or leave that. This little screw detail and these little flaps up here, I think I'm going to paint those. Or maybe one of them. Shit, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go. Yeah, let's paint this. I assume it's like a screw or something. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like, you know, some sort of crazy orky screw mechanism where, you know, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, it's make up your own craziness, right? It's orc tech, you know. It works because they wish it. They wish it that way. Ah, hit that freaking See, I think that was one of my big problems in my youth, as I was trying to hurry my way through these things. I was not patient as I am today. And believe me, I am patient today. Having kids and stuff, starting a family, that'll help you develop your patience. Yeah. See, it's already starting to feel like a proper little gun on his arm, right? It actually looks like more like a camera, like them old cinema cameras. So I'm gonna go film a movie, an orc movie. Yeah, when we get to the glazing, I'm very curious. I think I am going to glaze up a majority of the highlights on this, just so I can have a better feeling for the paint, because again, this coat d'arms is kind of a it's a trip down memory lane, to be sure. To be sure. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where I want to lay black down. Like, I'm trying to see where I want metals to be and what I want to be solid colors. And yeah, you know what? This little doodad up here that's metal. We're making that decision right now. It's metal. That's how this works. You just see an area and you make a decision, and then you run with it. And if it's not the right decision, it's not the right thing that you say, oh, you know what, maybe that's not that. It doesn't belong to it as a metal, or, it's organic, or, whatever, right? Well, you just come back and repaint it. That's all you do. That's it. Again, this stuff is not complicated. Painting miniatures is really quite simple and straightforward. Yes, there is a ton of nuance to it, but the ancient art of applying pigment to a surface? No. If cave people could do it, I think we can do it in the 21st century. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, to get into some of these areas, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to try... I wasn't going to do it. I was just going to make a black shade wash ink, but I think I'm going to find the black wash, or the black ink. Where the hell's the black ink? There's that weird red, super red wash, whatever the hell that is. That's still fucking with me. Where the hell's the black? Okay, that's ink wash black. Okay, that's ink wash black. What's that? Purple? Super purple, apparently. Blue. Yeah, the red. I can't wait to try the red. I'm excited to play with the red. That I'm excited. Like almost giddy. Oh, ink armor wash. That's what it is. They feel about the same. Yeah, like, again, this one is, you guys can barely read the text. Ink armor wash and ink wash black. I suspected the same thing, but I don't know. Anyway, let's give. I'm going to use the black ink. I'm not going to use the armor wash. Right? No, I'll use black ink because we can be very deliberate with that. Sophie, did they have Warhammer during your childhood, Kris? Did they have Warhammer? My childhood? No. Well, because Warhammer, I got into Warhammer 40,000 first. Well, I got into Space Hulk, then Warhammer 40,000. And they didn't come out until 87. I probably didn't realize it until about 88. And then started getting stuff in 88, 89. That's when I started collecting miniatures. Now, I was already doing model kits and stuff like that. Star Trek. 2 kits. These models, really. As well as, you know, mangling up my G.I. Joes and stuff like that. Converting them. All sorts of stuff. All the destructive things that young boys tend to do. Alright. We're going to use Ink Wash Black. I'm assuming this is not going to apply quite like the shade washes. Grab a fair... Ooh, I probably grabbed too much there. Oh yeah, that's very silky. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Okay. You know, we can mess with this. We can mess with this. Come on, get in there. Come on, colors. Obey. Obey! Yeah, see, I'm just putting some black in that little grill inside the gun. Okay. So just like that. And we have to do these little vents on the side here. So we're just going to grab a good amount of color. And then we're just going to apply it just like so. Bang, boom, bam. Just like that. Grab a little bit more. Come at these from the other way. Bing, bang, boom. That's it. Was that it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I suppose. Still not sure what I want to do with these little things. You know what? I'm just going to pick them out in black. Screw it. We'll do it live. Yeah, just go like so. I just want to touch the button. Like so. Create a little black line around it. Ooh, should we do black lining? Hey? Should we do black lining? That's an old technique. I don't know if people do that anymore. Do people blackline anymore? I think that one's probably gone out of style, right? So that one used to be a very common one. Putting little black lines to separate color and everything. Sophie. I wonder how they started out with... I wonder how many started out with scale models or those plastic toy soldiers you can buy, which are great for teaching youngsters painting. I mean, like the army men and stuff like that was all over the place, but like I don't think many people were buying that and, you know, getting into the hobby because of those, right? I mean, they might have. I don't know. I can't say because, you know, I can only speak about my experiences. And yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, like, 88, I was 13. So, yeah. It's a pretty young age to be getting into this stuff anyway, you know. Busting out the Elven Grey, I'm going to hit the gun casing with this. Grab a little bit of Elven Grey. Can't get enough of that sugar, Kris. Where are we gonna start? Let's start right. Oh, you know what? I should probably wait, to be honest, because this ink and paint is probably not even dry. Shit. All right, I'll fix the little boo-boos on his head. The little boo-boos. Boo-boos. Little boo-boos. Maybe. Let's get the lip. And probably, once I start getting into the highlighting phase, I'm probably going to have to switch over to a sharper brush. Yeah. Catching the tops of the rivets.
Dad, we're gonna go out one more time before bed.
All right. Ear panels. These little ear panels. Oh, you know what I just realized too? Because I'm kind of seeing it as I'm just thinly glazing in some of this layer. Because way back in the day, we used to make a big issue about having different waters. I know I used to go on about this a lot back, like when I used to advise, and yeah, color transference, because of how thin these paints are. Color transference actually is a thing again, as I'm working on this. So that's an old issue from back in the day that I'm just realizing that, yeah, you know what? I gotta be concerned about that again. The dirty water. Dirty water is the enemy of a good painting. But yeah. All right. Just catch that. Catch these rivets. Yeah, definitely have to reestablish the shadows again on those, so they look cool. Yeah, glazing up your highlights with these paints, yeah, it's really straightforward. And because it feels like you have a little more working time, that it feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. I'm trying to get some of these finer edges here. I'm trying to get a little edge on this panel line here. Catch these little rivets and everything. Yeah. So now it feels a little cleaner and doesn't feel quite as blotchy anymore. Well, I guess we could just hit this with the hairdryer, right? You know, let's just hit it with the hairdryer. Oh, shit. I gotta clean up my freaking office. I'm, like, up to my eyeballs here. Crap. Sophie, soon to be 50 as you were born 75, just a couple of years younger than my dad. Yeah, thanks, kid. Thanks for reminding me. No, I don't get down about my age or anything like that. Because quite frankly, half the time I don't even remember how old I am. I'm looking at the model right now, and it's like, yeah, I would like if this was, you know, if this was 1990 again, I probably would just hit this with a sepia and be done. That'd be it. I'd just be, yeah, let's just hit it with some sepia and be done with it. Can we even see this okay? Here, let me turn this light down one more. Yeah, that's a little better. You guys can see this a little bit better now, eh? Yeah. It's a fun model, though. I mean, like, if they threw this back into 40K today, like this, people would be like, this is the stupidest shit I have ever seen in my entire life. Amazing what 30 years can do, eh? I wonder if, like, the fingers should be metal. No, I kind of like the fingers being solid red like that. Just something to help kind of break it up, because you can see, like, on the inside of the hand, you see the fingers are kind of non-distinct. A common thing to sculpts way back in the day like this. But yeah. Anyway, all right, let's get back to it. What time are we at here? 10:10. All right. We got time. We got time. We got time. You know what's also kind of fun about these old sculpts is you can kind of see some of the tooling marks of, like, either where the sculptor had put a detail or was, you know, working on details, and then also like where, like, machining and things, like the mold making process. You can see those things on the surface. It's like looking at a paint job and seeing the brush strokes. You can see the artist's hand on the piece, on the mini. And it was a human hand. It was a human hand. Try and stay neat. I'm trying to be neat. I'm trying not to rush this. I'm trying not to hurry up and get excited and like, ooh, we're almost at this phase, we can work on this. And ooh, we're almost at this phase and we can work on this. So does anybody know what this model was called amongst the orcs? The in-game name? Does anybody know? Yes, it's an Ork Tinboy. But what was it called? Yeah, if I was really, really, really patient, I would have cleaned this model up a little bit more. Because there's all sorts of little pewter doodads here and there that are in areas that are like, oh, that's part of Flash. Oh, I should have cleaned that. But again, this is not being painted for competition or anything like that, so I'm not really super worried about it. This is going to sit on my shelves and only be enjoyed by me. That's it. That's the only person I'm painting this for, is me. Yes, I know it sounds very selfish. Yes, I know it makes me sound like an asshole. But I don't care. Why? Because it's my mini. My mini, my paints. Meh. As we're talking about maturity. No, I don't think we were talking about maturity, were we? Anyway. Yeah, I can be completely way off on this. Probably am. But yeah, it feels like these have a longer working life. Because it feels like I can just keep going back and forth over the same area. Now, you shouldn't when you're painting. Just as a habit, because you can end up, creating, tide marks and such on your model. On your painted surface. And that goes for anything you're painting. You can end up pulling on the paint, and there's all sorts of negative things that can occur when you're painting and you're going back and forth over the same spot as the paint dries. Oh yeah, I gotta do that spot. Do 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 do. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. This is a lot of fun. Like, when I say things that would upset most people, like when I say my childhood was better than yours, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. I know, it's such a dick thing to say. Comments. Sophie, I don't know, some of the old miniatures are pretty good. I'd love to get my hands on a few. Yeah, do it. Search eBay. Just search. You just start looking. Start, bookmarking, things that look interesting to you. And yeah, like, there's no harm in window shopping. You find a model that you really, really like. And you know what, Sophie? I may even share what model is going to be my next. I might even share that information. I'm not going to share it with everybody because I'm just not. There are 1.5 million reasons why you shouldn't. Yeah, so we're going to use our Space Wolf Gray. Well, what is it called? It's not Space Wolf. Shadow Gray. That's the old Space Wolf Gray. It's that blue gray. On camera it looks blue, but it's that blue gray. You know what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about. Oh, wait, shit, I rinsed that off. Oops. Didn't mean to. I'm going to grab 2 drops of my favorite Liquitex Flow Aid. Mainly because, you know what? I don't even know if there's a shade wash. I don't think there was ever an ink or a shade wash for Space Wolves. I think they always recommended to use black. Maybe a black and a blue? What the hell did they recommend Space Wolf players to do to wash their, to shade wash? I don't remember. What was the recipe for Space Wolf players? What was it, people? I'm just going to give this a quick blast of air just to help dry it up. All right, we're gonna grab this brush here, grab some of this thinned out shade wash gray, and we're just gonna begin applying it all over the place. I'm gonna be fairly generous with how I'm applying this, because I mean, you know, we can always just build it back up afterwards. I'm not too concerned if I'm hitting other areas that have like black on them. Any of the red areas, then I will clean it up as fast as I can, but if it hits black, I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. Maybe we'll let a little bit more of this blue-gray show up on the underside. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, after this shade wash, after I apply it, it does kind of take on this look of kind of like blotchy, which I'm not sure if that's the flow aid doing that to me or what. But yeah. Okay. Okay, give that a moment to dry. Give that a moment. I picked up a box of 1/24 scale Tamiya miniatures called Campus Friends and thought, paint them up as Wargaming Friends. Goes to show you can use anything to do something hobby-wise. Yes, exactly. Yeah, 100%. And then we'll just quickly throw in just a little bit more just to reinforce some of these really kind of darker areas. Any of these areas, especially under the gun. Just want to make them a little darker. That's a darker. I'll grab some more color here. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm just looking where I've kind of messed up some of these little areas. Not messed up, but just didn't get all the color in the right areas. Okay. We will leave that for a moment or two. While I think about what I want to do for this base. You know what? Maybe we can try the armor wash. Let's try armor wash. Where the hell did that go? Is that armor wash? That's armor wash. Yes. So armor wash. We're going to try that. I'm going to just put a couple layers down. Well, one heavy layer, I guess, on the metal. Because I've already primed it in metals, right? I used Stano Rez's metallic primer. And yeah. Let's give this a shake. Put it on the old trusty rusty shaker. And we'll give this a try. We'll see what's what. What's what? Grab the shade wash brush, and we'll try it out on this big old beam first. See how that goes. Grab a fairly heavy amount, just so we can see what it does. And from what I can tell, it's acting just like black wash, black ink. So, guess what that means, kids? That's right. We're going to add some flow aid to this. I mean, honestly, it doesn't look bad. It's not like the effect I'm getting is terrible. In fact, it's kind of, giving me those old vibes. And the easy fix for some of this is like here, just grab some of that color out. Here, we'll grab some of this color out, right? We'll just move the color around so it doesn't feel so, heavy shade wash-ish. You know what I mean, right? Yeah. Actually, just draw. You see how heavy it is on the bottom there? It's just pooling up a lot. We just have our dry brush, and then we just touch it. And there, you just draw some of that excess out. Just like that. See how easy that is? Alright, more wash. More shading. More shade wash. So we're just going to hit this right up the side. Just really heavy like. I guess really all we're looking for is for this to blackline a lot of the areas. And give us that little black lining around the rivets and the bolt heads and stuff that we're so used to seeing on miniatures. Okay. Yeah, see, it's not bad. It's not like 100% what we're used to seeing these days, but, it's not bad. So you just draw the excess out. Hell, we could probably go for a non-metallic metal look really fast. Just breaking up this surface so it doesn't look so, haphazard with the shade wash. Just creates a little bit of texture as well. So, yeah, it's not a bad effect. To speed things along, though, I think for the rest of the base, I'm going to hit it with a mixture of flow aid and this armor wash. Time we at? Why doesn't this thing show me how long I've been streaming? Oh, there it is. 106. Okay, it's 106. Very, very good. Very good. Good. Sophie, Are you going to add some rust effects to the metal beams? That's what I was thinking. I was just trying this armor wash, just to see what the hell it looked like and how it acted. And it acts like the old inks used to act. They weren't very, very viscous. Um, they couldn't be applied to like a whole surface easily because they would just travel off and but they were so well pigmented that they made like one of the old techniques was for black paint to thin it with black ink, and that way you'd thin the paint but retain saturation. That was one of the old techniques for a lot of these these inks, what they called inks back then. Yeah, I'm going to just do a little bit of the armor wash with a drop of Flow Aid. I'm just going to throw a little bit on my palette here. It's like so. And 1, 2. Probably didn't need 2, but gave it 2 anyway. And like, as I was mentioning earlier about paints and such and brands and mixing paints, like that's Liquitex, their water-based acrylic paint line, or for the most part, and so their products will mix with other water-based acrylic paints. For the most part, most will work together, Alrighty, let's start just slapping this in here. Here we go. Now again, like I said, this is the old black armor wash, and I'm getting bubbles, so I'm moving the brush around a little too heavily. Again, I'm not being careful here. Let's go over here. Yeah, let's just hit this area. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm getting a lot of suds here. There we go. Yeah, I'm blowing the ink everywhere. Get over there. Get over there. There we go. Honestly, I probably didn't even really need to use the Flow Aid. I think I was getting about the same level of action without the Flow Aid. Yeah. See how bubbly that is? That's from my action of moving, and freshly shaking the paint, as well as my brush movement. It's creating that scrubbing effect. It's like if I was it's like I'm scrubbing, right? Essentially, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. No, that's completely messed up. Because it's so thin, probably could even use the airbrush to blow it off. You can see there. See? Knocked a lot of it off. Again, it's just because, the color doesn't have the same grab as the paints do these days, Honestly, it's okay where it is right now. Like it's, you can see edges and stuff now. If you recall before, it was a lot, different. Now, again, okay, so the model is predominantly red. I really don't want to use too much oranges for creating rust. I don't want to use greens because it just visually won't really make a lot of sense. Of course, though, it is an alien world. It could be simply represent moss. So, don't let those things get in the way. When you are working on your miniatures and you're thinking about the color and how colors play next to each other and, overall composition of everything, think of color first. Don't worry about, trying to math out the reasoning for why these colors or what these colors are representing and stuff like that. Don't get bogged down in that. Just concentrate on just color and how colors sit next to each other. So yeah, we're gonna leave that to dry. This is most likely dry. I mean, we could probably start coming in with some of the, what is it, Elven Gray? Yeah. But no, I was just thinking of the orange, and also like taking an opaque brown, because there was no like rust effects or anything like that back in the day. Like all this stuff, it was really just up to you how to get that end result. And even using like oil washes and stuff like that, like there was a lot of stuff that migrated from Scale Model World and like Hobby Train, those modelers, over to this. There was a lot of technique and shortcuts and everything like that, especially when you get the wargaming side of stuff, when everybody was pushing for more realism, like, you know, like their tanks and stuff like that. They wanted to have the chipped armor and the rust and the dirt and the caked mud and all of these effects. Yeah, those were all coming from the World War II collectors and modelers and, you know, the painters and such. That's where a lot of those techniques came from, was those guys. Okay, so we're gonna be done with the armor wash, right? I mean, we could throw more black on that, I suppose, but not necessary. What was I gonna do? I was gonna grab a color. Was I gonna grab an orange? Did I really want orange? Oh no, I was thinking. I mean, we can throw any colors in there. I think a brown though, a dark brown. What's a dark brown in Coat d'Arms world? I have to constantly refer to my big cheat sheet here of colors. All right, what is a dark brown? Oh, they have the super wash, but I'm not gonna play with the fucking washes. Horse tone brown. That's actually a very nice dark brown right there. Yeah, it's a very nice brown. The swatch is really fuzzy because it's out of focus, but I think it actually works better for the eyes looking at the sheet like this. What's another one? Chestnut brown? Chestnut brown's not bad. Wood brown? No, I don't want wood brown. Rust? There actually is a color called rust right here. And on camera, it looks very red. Like it looks like a dark red. But no, it's actually like more brown with the red. Mornfang brown, if you're on the Citadel side of things. That's what it looks like on the swatch here. Because you got rat brown and hairy brown. Okay. Italian red earth is a very orangey color. That's over. Ooh, almost knocked everything over. Hold on. Get some tension back in this. Yeah, it's right there. That's a very orange. And it's almost on the screen is almost what I see to my eye. Yeah. Huh. No, I think I'm going to look for rust. Yeah, I'm going to look for rust. I'm going to thin that down and apply it to, you know, the beans. Oh, here's the orange. I wonder if this is that Italian one. Nope, flame orange. Flame on. Flame on. What color is this? Dark flesh. Dark flesh could probably work too. Rat brown. Found rat brown. Dark earth. Ooh, dark earth. Oh, this is almost like a Thonian camo shade. It's a greeny brown. Ooh, I kind of like this. Dark earth. See, because I want to have either a blue or a green next in working on the metals of the beams to play with visually with the predominant red. What was the color? Rust. Horse tone fur. Wait. Hard getting my fingers in here. Nope. Shade gray. What's this one? brown? Oh, wood brown. Fuck, I can read. Okay. Yes, I know. I need to get my paints organized. Tell me something I don't know, motherfucker. Olive drab? Olive drab's not bad. That's not bad. Olive drab, it's kind of like, you know, the old World War II tanks kind of stuff. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad either. What do we got here? Chestnut. The horse tone chestnut. What's this one? Red brown. Oh, red brown. Actually, maybe red brown is the one I want. Dark leather? Nope. Fucking hell. Barbarian leather? Nope. Chestnut brown? Chestnut brown. Beige brown? This is not doing me any good at all. Horse beige brown. Jesus H. Which one's this? Oh, Italian red earth. Oh, Italian. Yeah, see? Italian red earth is a very... It's kind of leprous brown, I think. It's kind of that color. Maybe Jokero orange. It's actually not bad. Like, for doing like a rust color. That's not bad. I'm thinking maybe these two. This brown green and this orange. Maybe stipple them on. Maybe do it deliberately. Is that the sound of my voice? Oh, don't worry, yellows. We'll get to you soon enough. Midstone? What the fuck is midstone? What the fuck is going on? Oh, fine. Rust. Actually, rust's not bad. On camera, it looks to have like quite a bit of red. No, I think I like the Italian earth one because I mean, sitting on top of the metallics, it's gonna get knocked down. Yeah, I'm gonna play with Italian red art. What is it? Italian? Yeah, Italian red earth. Yeah, we'll play with that. Sophie, are you going to add some rust effects to the metal beams? Yes, I am. Rust sandbags. Have you ever found a paint guide or a bottle being not true to the color of the paint when it dried? Oh, you mean like if I'm using this color and then it changes value when it dries? Is that what you mean? That happens to a lot of water-based acrylics. Which is why way back when I was, kind of, uppity about a lot of my opinions in art and everything, because I didn't like that color fast of acrylic paints, and a lot of my classmates in school and college and stuff, they would like to prefer to paint in acrylics, and I mean there's obvious benefits to working in acrylics, but I didn't like that when I mixed a paint to get a particular hue and I applied it, its value would change slightly as it dried. I didn't like that, which is why a lot of times I prefer glossy paint or a gloss finish, because that kind of resaturates the color visually. You put the same color with a matte finish or a gloss finish next to each other, and they are different. They have a slight different. The glossy one will appear more saturated, and that's why I prefer oils for my painting, like my canvas work. I prefer oils because oils don't change value as they dry. They stay the same. Sophie, for the dark brown, is there that's between Doombull and bark color? Like this paint line has a lot of browns because this Coat d'Arms line is not just like a fantasy or Games Workshop imitation. It's also a World War One or World War One? No, it's World War II range. What's the other? Oh, it's just called military range. So there's three like kind of color groups in this paint set. So I'm just giving this Italian red earth a shake on the old mixer. I think we're going to use this straight with just the dampness of the brush. Maybe no. Maybe we'll thin it down into just with just water. Yeah, we'll just thin it down with some water. So yeah, I'm gonna use Italian red earth for my the orange parts of the rust. This is just gonna be like really applied kind of haphazardly. Again, I'm not too concerned. I'm only grabbing about that much paint. Let's put it over here. Oh, excuse me. Let's grab a very generous amount of water. You can see the bristles are just swollen with water. And let's thin it down. You know what? I'm going to mix it into the entire dollop of paint just to break down the entire blob. Yeah. That's good. I think I want it a little thinner. Like another half brush load of water. Like that. Just another little bit more water. Yeah. Yeah. There it is, right there. That's what I'm looking for. It's on the cusp of flowing more like water than flowing like whatever's left of the thin body paint. Anyway, we're gonna take this orange and I'm gonna kind of stipple it, but not really. I'm just gonna slap it on. Watch. Bang, bang, bang. Like that. Now again, I'm pretending. I'm going to build up these layers of color on top of the metals. I'm going to allow some of the metals to show through, obviously, but yeah, the goal is just kind of get this really interesting kind of look. Now this time I am okay with the bubbles and stuff on the surface. You can see like something like this is a little too uniform. Oh, look at that. The paint must be still wet in there. That's okay. That's fine. Because again, this is going to be all messy anyway. Because I am going to, when we get to highlighting this, it will be a lot of dry brushing and such. Oh yeah, there's still a little wet paint over here. All right. So that. Let's grab a good generous amount, right? Let's get some good runs going. Yeah, kind of like that. And then you just start being deliberate about where you want to apply it, you know, just kind of, yeah. Just slap it anywhere. Just beat it like it owes you money. Yeah, there's still a lot over here. That's going to be a mess when it dries, but that's okay. Still gotta, you can still see I'm kind of picking up some of that black in the base. Now again, we can come back in after this initial kind of caking of color. I'm gonna pull some of this color out. Jesus, my dog's hair's everywhere. Yeah, you can see on the bottom here how it's already kind of drying. See, it's very thin. That's what I'm looking for, though. This, I can pull this out because that's the bottom of the base, the lip, the rim. Oh yeah, look at how much rust is right there. Jeez Louise. I don't really want that, but you can see it's already mixing with that undried armor wash. So I'm just gonna go just pull that color right out. It's a little too intense. Just pull it out. I don't know. I'm kind of liking that heavy amount of orange like that. It's gonna get covered over anyway. Because, yeah, the next color we use when we eventually lay the next layer down. Yeah, screw it. I'm just going to run the dryer for a few. If there's any questions or comments. Sophie, it sounds perfect for bolt action gamers. Yeah, the names of the paints? Yeah, well, because it's them kind of imitating Vallejo. Because Vallejo has, you know, game color and model color. And their model colors are, you know, like more geared towards scale modeling, right? I know this is pretty exciting viewing, but too bad, it's necessary. So what, you want to fight about it? That really heavy spot right there is still taking a bit to dry, but you can see most of it's already dry. Yeah, I kind of want to push more green, because I don't think I was thinking blues or purples as well in the metals. You know, like the metal could have looked like it was, you know, heat tempered, like it was all subject to like a melt a blast or something like that, right? But yeah. All right. Yeah. So we're not going to worry too much about that little divot, because again, it's probably going to get covered over when we go to the next phase, which I'm going to use dark earth. This is if I had to guess at a color, it's more like it's citadel Castellian green. Is that the darker green? Yeah, the darker kind of like for the Astra Militarum. Yeah. I like that sound. The sound of sloshing paint. All right. Same thing with the orange, or the, what is it? The red earth. Italian red earth. We're just going to use this. All right. Yeah, we're just going to add just water to this. Grab a fairly generous amount, just like so. Slap that right there. Let's grab some water. Mix it into the entire dollop. I'm going to leave this a little bit thicker. I'm not going to thin it quite as much as I did with that, because this, I am going to be a little bit more deliberate with it. Just a little bit. Yeah. So for example, let's go right here. Bang. Like so. And bang right in there. Bang. I'm just kind of imagining like kind of the mossy, dewy kind of thing, you know? That's kind of what I'm imagining, you know? This is like mossy grass and, you know, fungus and, you know, that kind of thing, right? On camera, it's not too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Well, once it starts to dry, it'll start to get it. But again, this color is that it's a green-brown kind of color. Again, it's like Athonian camo shade or Castellian green. It's like an army green color, kind of color. And again, that's all it is you're just going to build up layers and layers and layers and layers. And then we finish it with like a dry brush of metal. Yeah, that's fun. That, I mean, on camera, it doesn't look... I mean, it's kind of close to what I'm seeing visual, like, in person. Like, I think you guys are kind of getting the gist of it. You can still see metals at play. The metals are still kind of showing through some of the color. Again, once this dries a bit, I'll put the model back on because I think we'll end the stream soon. How much time we at? Yeah, we're an hour and a half. Yeah. So, you know what? I'm going to kick the dryer in just so we can get a kind of sense of where we're heading. Sophie, good job. I've earphones in, but I'll be waking up the neighbors with the sound of the hairdryer. Sorry. I'm wondering if I should lean more into the moss vibe. Like there's more moss on the metal. It's not just rust. You know what I mean? Like more like it's like ancient metal. Like this is some sort of scrap heap that's been here for, you know, centuries kind of thing. Got me pondering that one now. Because if I'm going to do it, oh shit. If I'm going to do a moss, I'd probably do it in pigments. Oh no, wait. Well, no, I still used pigments back in the day. Not very early in the day, but yeah. Still see some of the heavier spots there. That's fine though. I mean, because again, it's a process of, you know, building up layers and layers. So yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna show it with the model on it. Hold on here. I'll pull them off the pin vise here. Just to give you guys a sense of where we're at. It's probably how I scratched the model last time I was setting up. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of digging it now. I'm starting to feel it. And like I said, this is why we used to, you know, paint the entirety of the model and kind of just build up in stages. You know, it used to be kind of, you know, paint, you know, a single color and render that to its completion, and then go to the next color and render that to its completion. There used to be that method as well, as I was thinking of, you know, ways that, you know, people used to paint all the time. But yeah, I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of digging it. Yeah. I don't know. Let me know, guys. What do you guys think? I think we're having fun. I think we're just having fun. I think that's really all we can say at this moment, right? Is we're having fun. We're enjoying ourselves. We're loving the process again, and we're working on something that I coveted a lot when I was, you know, in this phase, and I never got around to picking one up. I don't know why. You know, again, it's just one of those things, right? In this hobby, you say, "Oh yeah, I'll just get it later. I'll just pick it up later," and then it's later, and it's like, "Oh, you know what? I never picked it up. I never bought it. I said it was. I didn't." And you know, yeah. So don't procrastinate, people. Stop procrastinating. Because you know, do so at your own peril, as it were. Yeah. All right, let's move these paints over here. Oh, let's get this chair straightened up. Put my brush rag away. Fucking dog hair everywhere. yeah, I'm digging where we're going. I'm digging where we're going. This is feeling good. I'm feeling good about this. And yeah. So I'm not sure when I will be back on to stream the next part, but yeah, I'm gonna try and I'll try and notify you guys when I do. I'll try and turn the camera on because now we're starting to hit that point where I'm like, yeah, I want to start working on some other areas. I want to start the highlights. I definitely want to play around. Well, I am going to play around. I played a little bit today, but with more glazing, and yeah, because I don't remember these paints being this awesome at glazing. Because I mean, like, I'm looking at like how the really thinned out colors dry. Like even here, this is really really thinned out paint. Oh, you guys can't really see that. Hold on, let me change cameras here. This cam, yeah. So this color right here was really really thinned out. You can see the blue shining through it, but you can see how consistent it is. And like when I'm looking at it, it's a solid color. It's not like this one here. This is the Space Wolf color. And that was really thinned down. And yeah, there's that blue and white color, and they separate in it. And when you really really thin down, it's kind of like when you're playing with metallics and you thin it down and you thin it just a little bit too far, and the pigment and the binder separate. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. But like the yellow, like the pigments are all good and strong, which tells you that it glazes well, because even in that thinned out consistency, just with water and a little bit of the medium though, I mean, like it's essentially a soap. And yeah, it's really good. So it should glaze very very well, and I'm looking forward to that part of the process. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank my patrons. I want to thank the members, and yeah, let me know, guys, down below. What you're working on, or what you'd like to see. Any suggestions as far as the base is concerned? Should we lean more into the greens, the browns, right? A little bit of the oranges, maybe a spot of something else. Ooh, who knows? Maybe a little bit of red. Maybe a little bit of red somewhere. Maybe some blood splatter. No, I don't want blood splatter. I just like him. I like the idea of the tin boy standing amongst the junk. Yeah, I like this idea of this little feller. And so yeah, I'll see y'all later. Take care of each other. Take care of your brushes, and they will take care of you. And I will see you guys in the next one. When? Don't know. You're just gonna have to subscribe, notifications, turn the bell, all that stuff, and you get notified when I'm going. Or you join the Discord. I've got a Discord. You can join us there as well. It's in the description. But anyway, later.